And that's a wrap on another fabulous evening, folks. Johnny Depp, everybody. The applause surged again, louder this time, the floor manager's hand slicing the air. 3, 2, 1, cut to commercial. Silence slammed down like a vault door. Graham exhaled, the sound sharp in the vacuum. Off air. Bloody good show, mate. He reached to unclip his mic, fingers brushing the pack, but paused when Johnny didn't move. Johnny's eyes, stormglass, tabloid haunted, were locked on camera too, its lens now blind, red light extinguished. The lens stared back like a dead eye. Graham chuckled, the practiced chuckle that had carried him through 1,000 awkward beats. You all right there, Captain? No answer. Johnny's thumb traced the rim of his whiskey glass, 2 fingers, untouched since the first segment. Ice had melted into murky continents. Crew voices drifted in from the wings, cables coiled, headsets tossed, someone muttering about overtime. The audience chatter faded down carpeted corridors. Inside the circle of armchairs the air thickened, pressurized, sealed. Graham killed the monitors with a remote. Click. Darkness swallowed their reflections. Johnny spoke first, voice low, almost conversational. You saved the amber question for the end. Graham's eyebrows lifted a fraction. Had to, love. That's the money shot. He said it lightly, the way you mention rain in London. Johnny tilted his head. Money shot. A pause. Not you? Graham spread his hands, cufflinks flashing. I'm just the ringmaster. Audience brings the lions. Johnny's mouth twitched, smile or snarl, impossible to tell. Funny. Last time I checked, you cracked the whip. The Fresnels overhead clicked as they cooled, metal contracting with tiny pops. Graham refilled Johnny's glass unasked, whiskey splashed, darker now. Look, we've done this before. You charm the socks off Surrey, plug the film, go home rich. Win-win. Johnny lifted the glass, studied the liquid like it might confess. Win. He tasted the word. Funny word for a courtroom. Graham's smile thinned. Ancient history. Dior sails through the roof. Johnny set the glass down without drinking. The clink was surgical. Dior. Soft, French. They kept me because focus groups said authentic. You know what authentic means in marketing? Means the scars still sell. Graham opened his mouth, closed it. A door slammed backstage. Johnny leaned forward, elbows on knees, voice dropping to Captain Jack's mutinous register. You read the transcripts, Graham? Graham's fingers drummed once, twice. Some. Enough. Johnny's eyes flicked up. Enough for what? The lights dimmed another notch, automatic. Shadows carved Johnny older than 58. Graham shifted, leather creaking. Enough to know both sides lawyered up to the eyeballs. Enough to know the internet picked teams. Johnny's laugh came dry, parchment tearing. Teams. He savored the absurdity. You think I gave a fuck about teams? Graham lifted a placatory hand. Course not. But the show had Johnny cut him off, precise. Needs blood in the water. Graham's hand froze. Johnny continued, softer. You invited me to talk perfume. Then slid the knife, BBC polite. How do you respond to those who say the verdict was celebrity privilege? He mimicked Graham's lilt perfectly, the upward inflection that made accusations sound like curiosity. Graham swallowed. That was producer's question. Johnny's gaze sharpened. Producer sits in your ear. Tongue still yours. A runner poked her head through the curtain. 19, headset askew. Mr. Norton, cars. Graham waved her off without looking. The curtain swished shut. Johnny watched it settle, then turned back. You ever been in a room where every word gets twisted into a noose? Graham started to answer reflex, but Johnny steamrolled on, whisper soft. I have. 4 years. Smiled through it because that's the deal. Smile, you win. Stop smiling, you're difficult. He paused. Difficult men don't get fragrance contracts. Graham reached for water, missed, tried again. Knuckles white. Johnny, we're off air. You don't have to perform? Johnny supplied. That's the point. On air, off air, same stage. Different lighting. He gestured at the darkened studio. Exit signs glowing like bruises. Only difference is the red light. Graham set the glass down untouched. What do you want me to say? Sorry we asked? Fine. Sorry. But you knew the brief. Johnny studied him a long beat. Ventilation hummed awake, cold air brushing their faces. I knew the brief, he said finally. Didn't know yours. Graham frowned. Meaning? Johnny leaned back, slow. Meaning you used to ask about craft. Hunter. Fear of forgetting lines. Now it's autopsy. Graham bristled, first crack. Times change. Audiences want truth? Johnny interrupted, softer. Or just the parts that trend? Silence stretched, elastic. Graham's pulse thudded. He glanced at the empty control booth, glass reflecting nothing. Johnny's voice dropped to a thread. You ever wonder what happens to the bits they cut? Graham blinked. Outtakes? Johnny nodded once. Moments the mask slips and nobody's live tweeting. Where a man says something real and the room pretends it never happened. Graham opened his mouth, closed it. Johnny continued, almost gentle. I said plenty tonight. Resilience. Moving forward. You kept circling the mud. Graham found his voice thinner. Because that's where the views, he stopped. Johnny's smile returned, small and awful. Exactly. Ice fully melted, water pooled like a tiny flood. Graham tried again. I'm not the enemy. Johnny tilted his head. No. You're the mirror. Graham flinched. Johnny clarified, relentless. Hold it up, I see what the world wants. Monster. Victim. Punchline. Never just, tired. A stage light flickered, buzzed, steadied. Graham's throat worked. You think I enjoy this? Johnny considered. You're good at it. Compliment as insult. Graham laughed, brittle. Christ, Johnny. Johnny shrugged. Takes one to know one. Air crackled. Graham leaned forward, mirroring. Burn the house down on someone else's show. Johnny's eyes glittered. Too late. House is ash. Graham glanced at the exit, then back. Then what's this? Johnny followed his gaze. Clean up. He reached into his jacket, slow, and pulled out a silver cigarette case. Vintage. Engraved. Flipped it open, click echoed. Inside, Polaroids. He selected one, laid it face up between them. Graham leaned in. Grainy shot, Amber, younger, laughing on a yacht, Johnny's arm around her. 2015, pre-everything. Graham's breath hitched. Johnny tapped the photo with a ringed finger. You asked what America gave me. This was Florida. Before headlines. Before tapes. Before the world decided who got to be human. Graham's fingers hovered, withdrew. Why show me? Johnny's voice dropped. Because off air, maybe you're still curious about the man. Not the myth. Graham hesitated. Lights dimmed again. All right. Off record. What do you miss most? Johnny didn't answer right away. He drained the whiskey in one motion, set the glass down empty. The sound was final. The quiet, he said. Before every conversation became evidence. Graham nodded, something unreadable crossing his face. Johnny stood, fluid, and buttoned his jacket. He paused at the edge of the light. One more thing. Graham waited. Johnny didn't turn. Next time you want blood, bring your own cup. He stepped into the corridor. Door hissed shut. Graham sat alone under dying lights, Polaroid face up like an accusation. His hand trembled. He turned the photo over. On the back, faded ink, to the man who made the monsters dance. The last light clicked off. Exit sign glowed red. Graham stared into the dark. Then, almost inaudible, the question that cracked it all, spoken to the empty studio, to the blind lens, to the night itself. Tell me, Johnny, was any of it real? Silence. The first fracture. The question hung in the black like a lit fuse. Footsteps had already faded down the corridor, Johnny gone, but the words ricocheted off the curved ceiling, found the blind camera, bounced back into Graham's mouth. He tasted copper. The exit sign bled red across the Polaroid, Amber's laugh frozen mid-frame. Graham stood. The chair rolled back with a lazy groan. He picked up the photo, thumb smudging the ink on the back. To the man who made the monsters dance. His own handwriting, 20 years old, a gift for a first-time guest. He crumpled it, then smoothed it again. Control booth door creaked. A junior producer, eyes wide. Mr. Norton, the clip's already. Graham raised a palm. Kill it. She blinked. It's live on X, hashtag Depp Norton trending. Graham's laugh came out strangled. Of course it is. He walked to the mark-taped floor where Johnny had stood. A single ring glinted, fallen, silver skull. Graham pocketed it. The studio lights snapped to emergency white, harsh, interrogative. He faced the dead lens. Roll the outtake, he said to no one. All of it. Blackout. Post-effect, by dawn the full 12-minute off-air exchange leaked raw, unedited. TikTok stitched the silence after Graham's final question into loops. Headlines screamed Norton's knife and Depp's ghost. Dior stock dipped 3%. Graham's phone stayed dark. The ring sat on his desk like a tiny skull. Last frame, the crumpled Polaroid, smoothed flat, inscription visible. No caption needed. The monsters had stopped dancing.